Okay, today I am going to be ranking all of Clash Royale's cards from F tier to S tier. Won't be doing evolutions today, just all the normal cards. And yeah. Okay, starting with Arch Queen. I would say Arch Queen right now is deserving of probably B tier because realistically it costs 5 elixir. And I mean, although you're getting decent value, I feel like there's better options. Now that Wizard's been buffed, I feel like Wizard's a better option. And then you've got Firecracker, which of course dies to arrows, but then you can just use Musketeer, Executioner. It's a solid option. That ability's pretty good, but I think it belongs in B tier. Okay, arrows. Archers. I don't think they're great right now, but they're still solid, and they work in Expo and a few other decks. They're not too bad, and C tier is probably where they belong in. 3 elixir, they get some value. Arrows right now are in S tier, and there's a reason why they're the most used card in the game. It's because they're the best, basically. I would say that the arrows are the best card in the game right now. They can take out Firecracker, Goblin Gang, cards like that, which is just very highly used right now, and you kind of need a card like arrows if you're going to want to do well. I tend to run poison, but if I'm not running poison, I'll be running arrows. S tier is definitely where it belongs. Baby Dragon is not in the best spot it's been in right now. I think it goes in C tier alongside Archers. I would say there's just better options that deal splash damage, I'm not going to lie. Much better options. Doesn't deal much damage. Health is pretty solid, to be fair. But I think there's just some better options. Balloon right now is probably going to go in B tier. It's alright, but it's definitely not in the best spot it's ever been in. I would say Lumberloon is in a pretty solid spot right now, but there's a few other decks. You've got Lava Loon, which I have to give credit to, is pretty good right now. And other than that, it's not insane, but I think it belongs in B tier, high B tier though. Okay, Bandit right now. Bandit's going in A tier. It's a really solid card. Pekka Bridge Spam right now is in a really healthy state, and it's up there in the meta. Applies a ton of pressure for 3 elixir. And just really good in Bridge Spam, particularly. Okay, next is Barbarian Barrel. I would say Barbarian Barrel is probably in B tier right now, to be honest. I feel like the log's definitely better right now, and if you're using Zap, then you might be using Evolve Zap, and you don't see that much right now. It's alright, but there's better options, to be fair. Barb Hut is it's D tier, I would say, because it is 6 elixir, not 7 anymore, and but nah, still 6 elixir is just too much for what you're getting a spawner. It's not doing that much. D tier. Barbarians also in D tier. They are terrible right now because there's just so many units in the meta that can take it out easily. Bats right now are okay. I would say they're B, effective tank killer for 2 elixir, but again they're not too hard to deal with. Battle Healer right now is F tier, to be honest. It gets no value. Running Elixir Golem by itself is actually better right now, or not by itself, but instead of with Battle Healer, Elixir Golem Night Witch is doing bits. Battle Ram is high B tier, I'd say. Not quite as good as Bandit. I don't think it's as good as Bandit, but still works well in Pekka Bridge Spam. A couple other decks does a good job of applying pressure. I'd say it belongs in B tier. Okay, next is Bomber, which just the normal Bomber. Actually, normal Bomber's probably in B tier. It seems to get a lot of value somehow, but it's not like it's just because of that low elixir cost. It's not too like punishing or anything, but it does sometimes get value for low elixir. Bomb Tower is probably the best building in the game right now. I would say it's better than Tesla, just because of that damage nerf that Tesla got. I would say, I don't reckon any of the buildings are in A tier, to be honest, or above. So I would say Bomb Tower's in the top of B tier. Bowler's in a good spot right now. It just seems to be taking out cards that are very highly used. I mean, it can literally take out Goblin Barrel if you use it right. And there's so many other cards that it can push back. It can push back Ram Rider, which is, massive in the meta right now with bridge spam. And there's so many other cards it's just really good against. And lots of decks. It's very versatile when it comes to different decks. So that's why it goes in A tier. Okay, Cannon is in C tier. It's alright, but it's definitely not the best building. Seems to, you can Earthquake, Fireball, Void. There's just too many ways to take it out. And I would usually take Bomb Tower over it just because that extra HP is definitely worth it. Splash damage as well. It's worth it for the extra 1 HP. Cannon Cart has had a buff in it. I think it belongs in B tier now. Really good option for Pega Bridge Spam now. Really good on defense, and then turning it into attack as well. Once that thing locks on, your opponent is losing out on a lot of health. And I'll say it's high B tier as well. It's a very solid card after that buff it got, the 10% damage, or maybe it was a speed buff, I think. But really solid now. Okay, Clone is F tier. Nah. It's shit right now. Dark Prince is... I'd say it just makes B tier. It's definitely not anything crazy, but it does do well against certain cards, and it's quite versatile across mid ladder and the high end of ladder as well. Dark Goblin had that buff a while back, and it has helped it a bit, although it still has very low health, and it's not too hard to deal with. I'll say it just sits in B tier. When I say just, I mean almost A tier. Yeah, I should put it in the front then. Earthquake's actually pretty decent right now. I think it's quite underrated. I'll say it goes B tier. There's quite a lot of decks it works well with. I don't think it works too bad with Goblin Giant, Hog Rider, of course, and then Royal Giant. I don't think it's too bad with either. Electro Dragon is pretty decent right now, I'm not gonna lie. With Night Witch, seems to do pretty well. But it's not overly versatile, I don't think. I feel like you're only getting value for in a certain decks, but it's still very solid. I think it goes in the lower end of B tier. E-Giant doesn't seem to be great right now. For 7 elixir, it doesn't seem to be getting much value, and there's not, I feel like I'll be taking Goblin Giant's definitely a better card right now. Even though it's not in the best spot, it's still better than E-Giant. I don't think E-Giant's really doing well in the meta right now, to be fair. Electro Spirit is a very solid card. I think, no, not quite. It's definitely at the top of B tier. 1 elixir cycle card, stuns things, works well in Pega Bridge Spam, and I mean not just Pega Bridge Spam, a lot of other decks as well. Yeah, I think just does a good job in a lot of decks, very versatile. E-Wizard, it got a buff. That was quite a big buff, to be fair, but I don't think it's... I'd say it's somewhere in the middle of B tier. It was definitely more low end of B tier. Now it's middle range B tier. It hasn't helped it that much, but it's a solid card. And there's quite a few decks it works well in. E-barbs. If you know what you're doing, they're not that hard to deal with. I would say they're C tier. They don't seem to get that much value. Elixir Pump is C tier as well. It was much higher, maybe A tier, but then Void got added. Now it's C tier. Elixir Golem. Elixir Golem right now is an A tier in my opinion. It is way better than it normally is. Elixir Golem Night Witch is punishing, and there's a couple other decks that are just really doing well. I'd say it goes A tier, which is crazy to say. Executioner is going to go in B tier. NATO Executioner is quite a lethal combo right now, I'm not going to lie. Executioner, yeah, it's very versatile, and again, that pairing it with Tornado, really good. I would say, actually, maybe, no, it's not A tier, but it's the top of B tier. Okay, Fireball's definitely an A tier card, always manages to do the job for Elixir, good spell. Firecracker, it's going in A tier. People try to say it's bad because it's King Tower activation, but realistically, I don't think a King Tower activation helps that much in most decks. I mean, it depends on what your deck is, but it's still an A tier card because you can use it on defense. Yes, it dies the arrows, but if you use it well, you know, you can play like Protect the President with it, and it basically gets a ton of value. I know people in the other tier list I made earlier in the year were getting angry because I put Firecracker up high, but I just don't think that King Tower activation is as good as people think it is. So, yeah, A tier. Fire Spirit's next to Electro Spirit for the same reason. It's a good cycle card. It does well taking out air, splash. Yeah. Not quite as good as Electro Spirit though, I don't think. Fisherman is in a probably low end of B tier right now. It's not that versatile, although it does do well in Royal Giant, which is in a good spot right now. So I'd say B tier is where it belongs. Flying Machine, it's doing well with Lava Hound being in a good spot right now. But again, similar to the Fisherman, maybe higher than the Fisherman. It does do better in some other decks, but I don't think it's crazy good right now. Freeze is actually pretty solid right now. I struggle against it quite a lot. Even playing Pick a Bridge Spam, I struggle to like put pressure on the other lane, and when the opponent overcommits, I struggle to get that damage back. So, yeah. Furnace is C tier. I think it's slightly underrated. If you don't have Poison or Earthquake, it can actually get a decent bit of value, but it's never going to be anything crazy. I would say Giant is... Oh, okay. Giant is probably... Doesn't make... I would say Giant is still in B tier, and a lot of you will probably think it's an A tier, but I'm not too convinced that it's good enough or like gets enough value, 5 Elixir, for it to be an A tier. It's a very solid card, but I feel like A tier is pushing it, I'm not gonna lie. Giant Skeleton is C tier, doesn't seem to get much value, just use the Giant or something instead. Snowball. I would say Snowball is in high end B tier. It's a very solid card right now. And, you know, it's a good spell to Elixir. Does the job. Goblin Barrel. Oh my god, Goblin Barrel's... I don't care what anyone says, it's still up there. It's an A tier. Logbait is just still insane. Yeah, Goblin Barrel just... I'm sorry, it has to go in A tier. Goblin Cage is... normal Goblin Cage right now is terrible, I'm not gonna lie. D tier never gets any value way better building options. Goblin Curse is in. I'd say it just makes it to the bottom of B tier. It's not in a good spot right now, or at least compared to what it was. It's all right. It's still decent. Okay, Goblin Demolisher is going in A tier, I would say, because it's just really versatile. Just always a pain to deal with, and I'll say it just makes it to A tier. I think I'm going to actually put Giant in A tier as well, upon reconsideration. Goblin Drill is going to go at the top of B tier. You know, if you have like a Firecracker, Executioner, Bowler, Royal Ghost, Log, this has too many counters for it to be in A tier. But of course, you know, you can bait those counters out and it can get value. That's why it's in the top of B tier. Goblin Gang is, I think Log Bait's in a really good spot right now. I mean, it always is, but no, Goblin Gang just gets too much value for me to not put it in A tier for 3 elixir. I'd say it's like the Furnace, but just costs 1 more and it doesn't get any more value basically, so it's D tier. Ooh, Goblin Giant is an interesting one, but I think I'm going to put it near the top of B tier. Goblin Giant Sparky's in a decent position right now. Not as good as it was earlier in the year. I remember putting it in S tier, I think. But it's definitely solid, but I just don't think it's insanely versatile. I mean, it works well with some archetypes, but you normally want the support card to be hitting ground and then let the spear goblins take out air troops, so it's not insanely versatile. The Goblin Machine's solid right now, but it's definitely not A tier, and it's not quite. I think it's at the bottom of B tier. I'm not gonna lie, similar to this card. It wasn't similar to the Goblin Curse. Not in the best spot, but still very solid. Goblin. I would say the goblins are. Nah, I don't reckon. I don't reckon they're an A tier. I'm not gonna lie. They're very, very solid, and I just don't think they're good enough for A tier. They're getting taken out too easily right now. I reckon guards are better than goblins right now. So, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about this one. I might change this. Golden Knight is, yes, it's alright. I'll put it near the bottom of B tier. Golem, you know, you've got Golem Knight, which is just doing quite decent right now, but other than that, near the bottom of B tier as well. Graveyards, Graveyard has gotten a little bit better recently because, well, it will get better maybe because now that poison doesn't kill wizard, less people are going to start using poison, and therefore Graveyard's going to be better. But it hasn't really been noticeable yet. So for now, I would say Graveyard is in the middle of B tier. It's still a solid win condition. Okay, now guards are going straight into the top of A tier. They're very, very solid for 3 elixir. Definitely the best swarm, I would say, right now. And yeah, Heal Spirit is going in C tier. It's a cycle card that literally gets no value. Even though it's a cycle card, you still want value for 1 elixir, which it doesn't really give. Hog Rider is in A tier. Doesn't really need any explanation. It's just super versatile and always punishes. Hunter's just been buffed, and I would have put it in C tier, but now I think it deserves B tier. That health buff, it just helped it out in a few interactions, not really anything crazy, but I think B tier is where it belongs. Ice Golem, okay, Ice Golem's going in A tier. I think it's the best tank right now, or mini tank, I mean, best mini tank in the game. I still think, if you place it in front of Hog, that's a lethal combination. Place it in front of Ram Rider, lethal combination. And that's on attack. On defense, it's insane for 2 elixir. You can kite things. It's the best troop to kite things with, I think. And it always gets value. You can put it in front of Firecracker and just farm value. Okay. Ice Spirit. Ice Spirit is very good, but Ice Spirit's in A tier. It's just too versatile, way too versatile to not put it in A tier. Ice Wizard's at the top of B tier. Ice Bow's kind of back in business now, with that buff it got. Inferno Dragon, with the current state of Pega Bridge spam being very good, I would say Inferno Dragon is actually an A tier, just because of how much it counters Pekka. And yeah, Inferno Tower, on the other hand, is a bit different, because you can get caught out. I would say you can get caught out a bit more against Pekka Bridge spam. So it's still very solid though, so I'll put it in like mid to top B tier. Knight is going in A tier, just behind Ice Golem. I think Ice Golem's a slightly better mini tank, but it takes out Wizard, which is now quite big in the meta, and it takes out those like certain long range units, which Executioner, the ones I'm talking about, those like 4 elixir long range units that everyone uses. Lava Hound's very solid right now. I'd say it goes in A tier. Seems to get a lot of value. Although, it's at the top of B tier. And yes, there's some decks which, when it's used in, it's basically an S tier card. But because it was low versatility, in my opinion, it doesn't pair well with that many cards, I would say it goes to B tier. Lightning is middle to top B tier, I would say. Doesn't really need an explanation. It just seems it's quite expensive, but then again, gets a lot of value. Little Prince is kind of poo right now, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's probably top of C tier. That ability is just not worth it for 3 elixir. Lumberjack is decent, although I would say it's somewhere in the middle of B tier. Magic Archer is, with Pekka Bridge spam being really good, Magic Archer is certainly a solid option. I mean, for your support cards, you'll either be wanting to use Executioner, Magic Archer, and Firecracker, which all have something common. They can hit, and it will like go through and get value. So you can like spam stuff on the bridge and then still get value, even if your win conditions aren't the ones doing the damage. Those 3 cards have that in common, but I think Magic Archer isn't quite as good as Firecracker. Actually, I think Magic Archer is still an A tier just because of how good it is when you use it right. Not as good as Firecracker though. Mega Knight is pretty solid right now. I would actually put it in the top of B tier. I hate the card, and I think it's kind of boring, but it does deserve to be top of B tier because of its versatility. Mega Minion deals quite a lot of damage, but doesn't seem to be getting that much value. I would say it's at the lower end of C tier, and it's just not that hard to take out. Very fragile. Mighty Miner is solid right now, top of B tier. Minor is... Okay, Minor Wall Breakers right now is very solid. I'm going to put it in the mix in A tier. Minion Horde, barely ever see it, and it's for a reason. With arrows being like, what, 70% usage rate, it just cannot work. I would say it's in D tier. Minions are in middle range B tier. Mini Picker, top end of B tier. So effective tank killer, although there are better options. Mirrors and C tier are... Mirrors and D tier, I'd say top end of D tier. Doesn't seem to get that much value. Monk right now is actually very solid. I would say bottom of A tier. Mortar... I love playing Mortar, but I don't think it's that good, to be honest. I think it's in C tier. Maybe because I use Cannon Cart, which is a hard counter, but yeah, I just never struggle against it. I don't think it's that good, just in general. Mother Witch is deserving of... I don't even think it... Nah, it doesn't even... It just says it's too fragile. I would say it's in C tier. Yes, those pigs are very annoying, but, you know, doesn't have the health. Fireball takes it out, Poison takes it out, Void takes it out, Lightning takes it out. Too many counters for it to be viable. And there's not that much Swarm in the meta right now either. Musketeer. Musketeer's decent. Like, it's very versatile, but I just think there's better options, and that's why it's going to go bang in the middle. Night Witch right now is very solid, top of B tier. Gold Night Witch doing well. A couple of decks, E-Golem Night Witch doing quite well. And I think it's solid, but it relies on other cards, definitely. Okay. P.E.K.K.A. is going to be in the very top of A tier. I don't think it quite makes it to S tier. And that's just because, you know, after that range buff, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spam is like insane right now. And this is the main reason why. Phoenix is decent, middle of the pack, B tier. Poison, Poison's, I would say Poison makes it to A tier. I think it's like not overly versatile, but when you use it in the right deck, it gets very, very good value. And it basically stops your opponents from playing cards in the Poison, which is quite a big radius, so I'd say bottom of A tier. Prince, fallen off a little bit, but still at the top end of B tier. Princess Logbait is in such a good spot, it has to go in, I would say it just makes it into A tier right now. I think it's quite underrated. Rage is in C tier. There's a couple decks it works in, but it's not that good. Ram Rider. Okay. Ram Rider's the next card in S tier. It is too good for 5 elixir. It turns defense into attack better than like any other card, basically. I mean, I use it as a counter to balloon, so, and it's a win condition, so I don't know how that I can do that, but it is an S tier. Rascals. Rascals are going to be top of C tier. Not getting much value right now for 5 elixir. I would say Rocket is the It's still really good in log bait, but it's not insane, and it is a spell, which makes it high B tier. Royal Delivery is going to go in the bottom of A tier. Very solid right now. Royal Ghost is very decent. Good Goblin Drill counter and works well in Pick a Bridge spam. No, it's not A tier actually. It's high B tier, I would say. Royal Giants, very solid right now. Very top of B tier, I would say. Doesn't quite make it to A tier though. Royal Pigs are going to go in the high end of A tier right now. They're quite hard to deal with, to be honest. There's not too many ways you can actually take it out and walk away without losing Elixir. I mean, yeah, nothing else to say really. Recruits are they're decent, but there's a lot of cards right now that take out that health range currently in the meta, so middle of B tier. Scummy's going to go in. Still just makes it to B tier because it can get value in it. It's decently versatile, but there's just way better options like guards, goblins, goblin gang. Yeah. Okay, no, goblins are going A tier. Okay, I would say Skeleton Barrel. Nah, it's too easy to deal with. Bottom of C tier. Skeleton Dragons, bottom of C tier as well. Actually, I'll put it in high end of C tier. But just not that good right now. There's just other cards that just do the same thing and are better in every aspect. Skeleton King, very good with Night Witch and E-Golem right now. That deck is kind of punishing. I would say it is top of B tier. Skeletons are very solid. A tier. Sparky's pretty good right now. Still pretty good. High end of B tier. Spear Goblins. I don't think Spear Goblins are that great right now. I'd say they're the bottom end of B tier. I just feel like there's better anti-air than Spear Goblins. Yes, they are 2 Elixir, but just spend one more, get a Firecracker, get something like that going, or just use a building if you're wanting to take out air. And if you're wanting the swarm, just use goblins, guards, etc. Okay, Suspicious Bush. Oh my god. Suspicious Bush is going to go in A tier. It's too good. It forces out a spell and does hella damage. So, A tier. Yeah, definitely A tier. Tesla is... It's not where it was. Definitely not as good as it was. I would say it's right next to Bomb Tower and B tier. It's still solid, but it's just after that damage nerf, it can't one-shot spirits. And there's a few other interactions which I'd say it's in B tier. The log is it's going S tier. It's like always going to be an S tier basically unless something happens. Three Musketeers are on C tier. Don't get much value for the cost. Tombstone's decent. Bottom of B tier, similar to Skarmy. Tornado is going to go top of B tier. It works. It's pretty versatile. Works really well with Exenado. And it's a good spell overall. Valkyries. Valkyrie's not on the best spot right now, but I would say it's in the middle of B because it does do its job very well. Void is going to go in. I would say Void's an A tier right now. Even after that, well, they said it was a rework, but let's be honest, it was a nerf. Even after that nerf, I would say Void still makes it into A tier. Then we have Wall Breakers, which are going in A tier in my opinion. 2 elixir, they put down too much damage with 2 elixir for them to not go in A tier. So, and then Witch is C tier. Just the big spells are too effective against it. Void, Poison, yeah, it's not doing much. Wizard is, after that health buff, Wizard is going to go, I would say Wizard's an A tier actually now, which is crazy. But I just think with the state P.E.K.K.A. Bridge Spammers in right now, or the state P.E.K.K.A.'s in, and all the other tanks that are doing well, I would say Wizard is an A tier. Expo's a little bit better now because Ice Bo's a bit better, after that buff for the Ice Wizard, but I would say it's the bottom of B tier. It's still not that good. I would say the Zap is decent. I would say the Zap's in middle to top of B tier because it is a spell, but there's better options. Zappies, I would say Zappies. Nah. Zappies are pretty bad right now. They're on the bottom of C tier. They just get taken out too easily by too many cards in the game right now. That is the tier list. Done. Bang. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid tier list. It is just opinion, and a bit of fact. But yeah, so don't get salty in the comments. And thanks for watching.